Good morning, everybody. Still continuing my climb towards 1500, and today we're going to take on a 30-minute game. Okay, opponent's rated 1410, so this is a 7-pointer, and we're going to play the Vienna. And what I'm going to try to do here, now I know this theory so far. Bishop comes out, we get a very exciting line. Okay, there we go, the Meitner-Mieses Gambit, if the queen comes out, which is the most natural move. So I've been toying with an idea, and the idea is that it's possible to play above your rating in chess. So queen's going to take here, I'm going to go there. It's forced. Okay, so much we know. It's possible to play above your rating in chess by changing your discipline, changing the way that you approach the playing. So, for example, just simply giving yourself more time to think, and thereby doing one more round of thinking means that you are playing stronger than you would otherwise play. If you could use an extra check for dangers. You could do an extra check for opportunities. You could add one extra candidate move. Right? Consider one extra candidate move and play it through. You could calculate one move further than the point where you would normally give up. This is the point. Now, I know exactly where I am here. This is the Meitner-Mieses Gambit. I'm fully 100% expecting white to capture. So my opponent is Josef SZ, could mean anything, 55, from Hungary. Josef. And he's having a right good think. So obviously the queen's under threat here, and this looks like it's almost mate, and it is almost mate, apart from the king has d1. But then, after knight h3, the queen is actually in some trouble because she's run out of squares on this file. Yeah, she can't go here because of our bishop. Can't stay there because of the knight, can't go there because of the pawn, can't go there because of our queen. Right, so basically it forces the queen up to d4 in some lines. Okay, bishop back here, right? I looked at this one earlier. That's actually a blunder if we can take that, but we'll cross that bridge if we come to it. I'm going to keep my powder dry for now, and we're going to sit and wait and see what opponent chooses to do. We also have a cat about to give birth, which is fun. So I'm attacking the queen. I'm also attacking c7. And we have bishop takes, and this is something I've never seen before. Okay, now, king here walks into all kinds of discoveries, but bishop takes, king takes, I don't know. Not good. Here, we have queen in there, check doesn't work. If I simply move the king to d1, or say to e2, the queen might have to move, but king e2 allows a possible knight d4 check. Okay, so I'm thinking king e1 to king d1. Queen can't come here with check. The queen is under threat. King's on here. The queen has no checks other than that one and doesn't work. The queen is under threat. Okay, there is a reason why this move is not played, and I don't yet know what it is. Okay, so actually the bishop isn't under attack at this point. Could play knight h3 and attack the bishop, but the queen is under attack by my knight at this point. Queen can't go there. Can't go there because of knight. Okay, so she's trying to trade off queens now. So I have, when I have this anyway, king must therefore move. There's no reason I can see not to play that move immediately. I also have this move, which hits the bishop and potentially threatens that as well. So if I take here, but then taking queen, I don't know. The queen is also attacking this pawn. If I take it, just opens up the rook. I don't really think there's... I'm actually a pawn down at this point. So I'm thinking queen f3 is the move to play immediately, and then followed by this. Queen f3, I'm attacking the bishop, and after this I'm threatening potentially queen takes f7. Okay, I think I've talked myself into it. Still defending this pawn. Knight here is playable, but then I have a check. And in fact, knight there, I just take the bishop, so it didn't work. Getting lots of good feedback about the longer format videos, so thank you very much for that, guys. Alright. Knight takes bishop. Makes a lot of sense. It opens up my bishop here. It messes up his pawn slightly. It'll probably take the a-pawn. The bishop's pretty solid there. However, my knight is also brilliant. So should I be thinking about something else like d3, develop the dark squared bishop? Maybe d3, dark squared bishop here. Notice the queen's the only defender of this as well, which is a pain. Maybe I need to develop my knight. Knight, knight, something like that, coming in here. That looks completely unobjectionable. I can't see a problem. I'm just doing a sanity check. Cannot see a problem. A bit of sniffles, I do apologise if I sniff. Okay. Felt like that was a mature move. Black definitely feels like he's on the back foot now. Already I've got 4 pieces out on the board. I've got a nice knight in the centre, defended twice. This knight, I think, if it gets to come here, will be really nice too. D3, and I'd love to develop my bishop maybe something like there. Even here, but remember my queen, if we trade bishops, my queen's the only defender of g2 as well. Easiest way to improve at chess is just to slow your ass down. Okay, we have pawn to d6. What does this mean? It means we may have this coming, which makes me think h3 is sensible. First move. Bishop might be coming out to here, I don't know. I can still take out his bishop if I want to. Now, this now would be a real problem because of bishop pin on queen. So I'm inclined to play h6. I don't think I'm going to be castling that way anytime soon, seeing as I've already moved my king. So there we go. Just remove this square from the queen and the bishop and say, oh no, you don't. Also, I am conscious that we have an open f-file and black has not castled either. Therefore, rook f1, something like knight to here, and suddenly I've got 1, 2, 3 attackers on the f7 square. Do I not? Now, let's consider first of all, because obviously stuff has now changed, right? Now, a thought is takes, and if pawn takes, he's improved his pawn slightly, right? Could take the bishop, in which case he's probably going to castle that away, which is not the end of the world. I take bishop. My knight also is able to jump into here, though, which is quite a cool square. If I can eliminate this knight, something like, for example, bishop here, right? Castles, his king is now on g8, right? I take out this, and he can't recapture, because then I have knight there. See? Tic-tacs. We have lots of tic-tacs, okay. In other news, he's also put a second attacker onto e4, which vexes me. So if he takes here, takes, fair enough. Takes here, so I'm inclined now to push d3. I'm inclined to push d3 and then probably develop this bishop to one of these squares. Opponent's playing alright there. I still really like this tic-tac though. Look at that. Pin the knight and he might go, aha, well, I'll get out the pin. And you go, yeah, but bingo. With a royal fork. Royally forked. I think maybe he saw threat. Alright. First thought is recapture with bishop. It keeps his pawns immobile. This hits the knight, so it comes with tempo. Ooh, I don't know. No, bishop. Just want to keep all eyes on f7, eh? See, now rook here, and then I'm threatening to capture with the queen. Sorry, with the bishop, and fork king, queen, and that way. Okay, he's attacking queen. I think it's going to be takes, bishop takes, maybe c3. He's not going to take the pawn, hell no. Okay. I mean, rook b1 is playable also. Does b3 strengthen me? It does a little bit, it comes with tempo anyway. He can't get there, he can't get there, he can't get there. Can't stay where he is. Back goes the bishop. This is a thought. But so is this. Do that and then he castles. And then he's got 3 defenders again. So, what can we do with this guy? Or what can we do with these guys? Gary and Freddie. Gary and Harry, sorry. If g4 here, yeah, I think it looks like the right move. I mean, rook here makes sense, but will probably prompt him to castle. Now, if g4 and then maybe rook f1 on the next move. Another thought is king c2, getting the king out of harm's way. I don't see any reason not to play g4. So I'm playing it. It's a lazy Sunday here. Oh. Okay, well I can come back to a year, can I? That's no problem. Might even come back to a year. You never know. Okay, we have castles. So now this does not work because that pawn has to defend that pawn because of the threat of bishop takes. So I'm inclined to review that idea we just mentioned of moving the king out of this alignment issue. I like this. Now king c2, I think I have time. You know, is my bishop going to need c2? Well, it might do. But I may also be able to play, for example, e3. Also notice that I've now resolved the issue of g2 being defended only by the queen. So something I could bring my bishop out. Huh. Yeah, well, they're both not very good bishops, are they? But I think I'm inclined to allow him to take and me to take back. So I might play bishop d2. Looks nice. If he takes, I take back towards the centre. And he's got a pawn to worry about there, I don't. Might even swing my rook across and throw both pawns up the board. Now there's no light to go bishop. And, oh, in fact, I'm not going to put a rook there, am I, right now? Not just now. Josef is still a pawn up, it has to be said. Josef still has all his pawns. Your chef is using his time. Okay. Oh. Breaker. 1, 2, 3 attackers. 1, 2 defenders. Is my arithmetic deserting me, or what's going on here? I get a queen here. Happy. And my bishop suddenly is much improved. Now, question. Do I threaten his bishop? Yes, I do. Also threatening this. I think he has to exchange now. I centralise my queen. My worst piece is off the board. I'm attacking this. I think that was what we call flinching. Okay. I have a choice of pawns. One of them is in the middle of the board and is in danger of pushing up. The other one is not much of a threat at all, so I'm inclined to capture this pawn. He has 1 attacker on there. No, he doesn't. He has 2. Interesting. So was that his plan all along? Notice this pawn is also pinned, so can't move forward. If I take this pawn, he's got queen here. Queen takes here. Forcing the king. Ooh, not sure I like that. Not sure I like that, precious. So, candidate moves then. Queen takes this pawn. So I think we can probably discount just taking the pawns because the threat of this is too great. I can drop queen to here. I can drop queen to here. I can drop queen to here. I can put queen here. There are lots of squares that defend the pawn. Now, are we stronger or weaker or what? Pawn structure. 2 at home. 4 slightly straddled. Okay. For white, decent. And 2 slightly ahead. We both have dark squared bishops. The game is very, very even indeed. This and trades would give me an isolated e-pawn and would create a blockage in the centre of the board. This maintains the pin on this pawn, which my rook may then come along and try and exploit. It's also hard for... Oh, hang on. Is this going to come next, though? Let's say I come here and he goes e4. Then I can push. But then he pushes with discovered check and an attack on the bishop, so that's losing. So I'm thinking this might be the way to go. But if I do queen here and he pushes, have I got just pawn takes? Or even queen here and pushes... Queen takes, either way. And that way I don't get an isolated pawn. So this and pushes, I can just take it. I think. I play rook a to e1. This pawn is pinned. That, I think, just loses the pawn. No real compensation. Okay, he's attacking the queen. That means that this pawn is still undefended. I still have this, which may lead to a trade. I still have this, but then pawn attacks. Oh, but that actually attacks this pawn. But if I attack the pawn and then he pushes to e4, I pushes, wins material with check, you see, that's the problem. So I think we may be forced to do this. I can't see any other solution. And are we going to get a trade? It's all a bit even, which I don't like. Okay. We both have these locked off e-pawns. Everything else is kind of mobile. Right, he's now attacking my pawn. I can add a defender with either of my rooks to e1. He can try and harass my rook. I can just lift it to e2. And he can't add another attacker to that pawn in a hurry, because the rook goes there, it gets captured. So, sunshine. May think about pushing my pawns now. Just hurry that rook away. 2 pawns side by side, he can't stay on these 4 squares. So he's therefore going to retreat, which I kind of like. Oh, of course. Now, the pawn is pinned and cannot capture. I know you saw that. Okay. Right, I come here now. I'm attacking both rooks, am I not? This rook retreats, the pawn's still pinned, but he can't take there. Yeah, pawn here. Yep. If he takes the pawn, I take rook, takes rook, then I've got 2 defenders. Not a problem. You must retreat now. And then he's only going to have 1 attacker on this pawn, so my problem is gone. However, this pawn is still going to be pinned. I may need just to dodge away, but that actually drops the bishop, so that doesn't work. King d1 is an idea. After rook's going to retreat, probably to c8 or c7. I mean, c7 is not a bad place because it prevents infiltration by my rooks. This is maybe an idea as well. Pinning the, or skewering the rook. Rook moves, I capture bishop, pawn takes, double pawns. Should be better for yours truly in the long run. That's a thought. So this rook's going to retreat. I play bishop e3. Okay. Or king d1. King d1 means this rook is under attack, but the bishop's also pinned. So that's an idea. Bishop e3, the bishop is no longer under attack. He can't take here, he loses a rook. He can't check here, he loses a rook. Wherever the rook moves, I take. Whoa, now he's defending though that with his rook though, isn't he? He's cunning, this one. Cunning, you know. Maybe I need to do this. Rook h2. Well, then, we haven't finished talking about king d1. King d1, bishop's defended, this rook is under attack. Okay. Comes here, I come back and attack him again. So is this not a goer? Is this not a goer? There, can he take the pawn? Then I take the bishop, we trade rooks. King d1. This rook's under attack. Can't take the pawn. Could come here. That's boring. Bishop here. No, no. Not really. Bishop's there. He takes pawn. I take bishop. He trades rooks. At the end of it, I get a pawn. I think it's kind of equal. Coffee's gone. Oh no. So I've got 15 minutes, 53 seconds. That's heaps of time for an endgame. You get better chess the longer the time format. So, because of these 2 pawns, all of these squares are out. He's now attacked by the bishop there. Obviously, this one's slightly pinned, so technically I can't capture there, but the bishop can. Okay. I think I've calculated this all right. Oh, he's got rook takes, hasn't he? Not pawn takes. But rook takes bishop, I take pawn, yeah? And material is once again equal. What if pawn takes? That's even worse. So it's going to be this. And I also I own one of the two open files. My king is also guarding the other one, which is useful. Also I have mate in 1, which he has to take into account. Okay. Now things got real. Okay, I come here. I'm threatening mate in 2 after retreats. Here, he gives check. I come back here. King ends up here. But here's the thing. If I take and pawn takes, black has a completely passed pawn in the middle. It's also isolated. I have a 3-on-2 on this side of the board. So the question is, can my king and these 2 pawns withstand his king and 3 pawns, giving my pawns enough time to go up and promote? So it's a question of, we've got 3-on-2 here, and we've got a kind of a 1-on-0 here, but with my king blocking. That's the point. I takes, king here. I'm going to come up for that pawn, and his king is going to be stuck defending that pawn. I think we are okay, but we're going to find out. If I lose, I aim to have learned something in the ending. Remember, there's no increment either on this. But we have been studying some endgames. His king goes here. I just come up. Then his king cannot proceed. His king is stuck now behind that pawn. And I think that these 2 pawns can fend off these 2 pawns, and then I'm going to have like a majority on this side. That's my idea. Because although, okay, I think c4 takes, and I have a passer. I'm going to step forward. I'm going to come here if I'm allowed. Right, I have to figure this out because I'm no endgame ninja. Right, there are a couple of options here. One is takes. A4. If I take and he doesn't take, he loses, surely. If I take and he takes, I have A4. If he takes, then his king has to come this way. And then I come here, then his king has to proceed. If this is the square, his king is in the square. Right, I think this is winning. I don't know it's winning. Okay, A4 now. And while he has to invest time bringing his king over here, so my runaway A pawn is going to act as a decoy for the king. While he's busy doing that, I get to sweep up these, all of them I think, and then come back and promote A pawn, I think. This is where it really pays to know your endgames. We've been studying endgames in Chess Bootcamp Live. The foundation group, which is like the sub 750 group, but we have a bit more of a spread. We have, everything up to 1300 in coming to that group. So, but we have been doing a load of endgame puzzles, really trying to hone our logic. And I think lieutenants, your men are already dead. If I get this, then the square is here, right? And his king then cannot enter the square. This is the point. Right, now, if he moves his king now do I take or do I push? That is a very interesting question. If I push, he can get into the square. But then I just reinforce with b4. And he's snookered, he can't get round. then I come here. And he cannot defend this and defend against this. So he's, I think he's blown it. I think he has blown it. This king goes here, then okay, there we go. Now, I think king e5 is winning. Stops him coming here, right? Now, if I push, this is the square, so if I push, he has to proceed. If I push again, he has to proceed. If I go here, or if I take the pawn, then he has to deal with this one. I think that's winning her. Push. He has to approach this pawn now. I am going to win this pawn. I am then going to win these. Okay? And he's got to deal with Barry. And no one wants to have to deal with Barry. 1, 2, 3 moves to get to Barry, right? In 3 moves, I can have eliminated all his pawns. Ish. They're going to wriggle a bit, but this doesn't actually hurt me in any way. He can push that, but then I take, or that takes, I still win. He has to take, really, yeah. Interesting stuff. Right, let's have a look, because we've got a Meitner-Mieses Gambit, and we had bishop takes here, which I don't know if I've ever seen, ever. Good news, we're up to 1470. So 1500, here we come. So I was winning, and did something completely stupid. And then I ground out the endgame, which I'm very happy about, because the endgame has been a weakness. Right, did you spot the blunder? All normal stuff, and that's a blunder. I knew it was a blunder. You are joking. King f1 was best, eh? Wow, this is inaccurate. And that was my blunder. I didn't capture on there. Allowing the bishop to retreat. Okay. What? How, stop. What? It's saying knight here is best? Because he's in check. Okay. King d8. Then I trade queens and escape, yes? Yes, I do. Trade queens and escape. H takes, yeah. And then probably knight here. Oh no. No. Oh yeah, of course. Oh, that was silly, that. He faces off and I decide to move away, discounting the fact that I had a forcing move because I had a check. Dummy. Anyway, so at what point was the endgame won? Okay, there's a couple of moves. So this is now balanced. That wasn't great, that was great. Okay. Right. Pretty equal. It's got white 1 pawn up. Why? Probably the open file. And that's inaccurate. And that was best. Good. I'm very, very pleased with that. King up, best. Again, inaccurate. King e5 was best, okay. But it's still +2, you know. And that's just a blunder. Best. Very pleased. I'm playing accurate moves in an ending. How's about that? Okay, and it's +14 now. There's really no way that black can salvage this. Good. Very, very proud of myself for that one. So I hope you've picked up 1 or 2 things from this game as well. I've learned a lesson because I had a big blunder there. I gave away a major advantage when there was no reason to do so, but ground it out in the end, so I'm very satisfied. Thank you for watching. See you soon.